views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the program host and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by TCN TV Network Incorporated. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. The TCN TV Network claims no rights to the said content. TCN TV Network cannot be held accountable for the copyrighted content. TCN TV Network is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this program.
We discuss all the issues, municipal, provincial, federal, and any issue of national importance. We will talk about on Point.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
At Benjamin Law, we understand the real cost of personal injuries. As the victim of an accident, you may be the one who's physically hurt, but your main concern is that your family are the ones who will pay the price. Benjamin Law will be there for you, helping, supporting, and working tirelessly to resolve your personal injury case. Call 1-855-899-4878 or visit benjaminlaw.ca and let our family of lawyers help your family.
Good evening and welcome to On Point, your political and current affairs talk show program on this evening, Tuesday, the 17th of December, coming down to the final few days in 2019. This evening we have joining us on the show, Kimberlee. Kimberlee, good to have you. We have missed you.
Thank you. Good to be back.
And with her we also have Len Carby. Len,
good to be here.
Good to have you. Good to have you for the program. Lots to talk about on the show this evening. We're going to take a brief look at the Conservative Party and the changes in leadership that is taking place there. We're also going to be talking about some breaking news that is coming out of Brampton City Council, and we have quite a few things on the agenda this evening. But Kimberlee, let's start it off with you. Since we were last on air, the Conservative Party, we surprisingly lost its leader. Andrew Scheer decided it was time to call it quits, to resign. Your thoughts, your initial reactions to that?
Well, wasn't expecting that. I really was expecting him to go all the way up to at least the leadership review, whether or not he would have made it past that. But I didn't anticipate him leaving so early. But I think it could be a combination of many things why he did that. But of course, we know there's allegations that came out about, funds being used for his kids' fund. And not that he did anything wrong per se, but for most people, when kids are involved, that's when they draw the line. And that could have been the last straw amongst many other things. Not sure what's going on internally in the party. But yeah, so, I mean, he lost, but the party was in a better position, bringing the Liberals down to a minority. So it's not like a clear cut that he would have had to go. Again, I thought he would have gone at least to the leadership review. So that came as a surprise to me.
Yeah, Len Carby?
It tells a clear message that the internal challenges of the party were brewing for some time. So prior to the election, there were some issues. It was clear that there was a move to oust him, even from then. And I think that voice just got stronger. After the election, he came out really strong out of the gate, continuing his critique of the Prime Minister and calling for accountability and saying, we're going to hold their feet to the fire for the next 2 years and all of that. And that was a strong showing post-election. But clearly, what was going on behind the closed doors was much stronger than we knew.
But what we saw as well, if we back up to that, 'cause we saw people coming out. We saw one video from a senator as well that was saying, referring back to the Stephen Harper days. Stephen Harper reduced the previous Liberal government to a minority. And then within 18 months, he was prime minister and carried on to be prime minister for 10 years. So they were comparing the same thing to Andrew Scheer. So everybody expected that this would have been the situation where he would have been there, he would have carried on. Kimberlee, you mentioned a few things there, and I want to dive into it. So for example, you mentioned, for example, reports about, his kids in private school and some party get a stipend to help pay for that. What came out was that, he had to move from Saskatchewan to Ottawa. Ottawa is a more expensive city, so therefore the party picked up the tab for the difference in school costs. Len, talk about, for example, some of the expectations we have of our leaders. You move a leader from Regina, Saskatchewan, where cost of living is a bit more affordable. You take somebody from Alberta, from BC, you bring them to a city like Toronto or Ottawa. Shouldn't we be reasonable that we are compensating our leaders? They are taking on a bigger job. The suits have to be changed more often. The clothes have to be washed more often. Isn't it reasonable that we are giving some sort of compensation to those who, for the issues for democracy, to those who are leading in a political party?
I don't think, however, Jermaine, that the question is one of compensation. It may be more a one of transparency, because it appears that the internal wranglings, or those behind the scenes who were responsible for making this payment, even heads roll there too, right? So it's not.
But generally, but let's go generally. Generally, should we have an expectation that it's reasonable for when persons take up leadership to offer some kind of compensation to them to kind of help defer that cost that you incur of leadership?
Well, the person gets a salary, doesn't he? Everyone gets a salary for their job. So if the salary is not enough, then of course we should review that and make sure one is adequately compensated. So I'm not against compensation at all. I believe he should be adequately compensated, and there should be, if there is a moving or a relocation cost, there should be a stipend to support all of that. But it has to be transparent. That was the issue. I don't think the payment for his kids was a transparent one. And I think that was the last straw that kind of broke the camel's back here.
But I feel like didn't somebody have to know? Somebody had to approve that, whether it be receipts or whatever. Somebody knew about it. Like he didn't. The investigation didn't come out and say like he did something wrong or unethical. So somebody knew. So not just maybe transparency in his, but even just the party in general, because people like to be in the know.
Yeah, somebody knew, and that person is fired too.
There we go. So whether or not it was, because sometimes you trust the people who are an administrator or what have you to do that. To be fair, we don't know if he deliberately hid that or he just didn't think about it. But it's a party thing too. It's overall.
But let's look at it as well. Justin Trudeau, when he became prime minister, hired 2 nannies to help him take care of his family. Because as you're a prime minister, you're a leader of the Liberal Party. You're busy. You're not at home to help take care of some of those home responsibilities. And he came under some pressure again when he had 2 nannies. Eventually had to let one of them go. It comes back to the issue of what is reasonable and what should we expect of our leaders. Is it therefore that as a nation, as a country, we're saying that if you want to be a leader of a party, you must be a Bill Marno or somebody who is very wealthy, very well off to lead a party? Is that the standard that we are setting when we are saying, when people reasonably claim some expenses, we are saying, no, that's not acceptable. So are we setting ourselves up? Are we saying you have to be certain, very wealthy to lead a political party in this country? Kim?
Well, I think they just need to make what it is clear that moving forward, there's no ambiguity. We've seen it across different parties, and the questions come up all the time. And I think everybody here is pretty much agreeing that, yes, it's a tiresome job. It takes a lot. And maybe they should just make it a part of the compensation structure. Like I'm in HR, sometimes people, if they give people relocating costs, if they think they're that good and they want them to go, so maybe just have that as a part of the expense or whatever it is in that package, so that at least people know from the get-go, so they can't complain or try to blackmail you with it or what have you.
Len Carby, we almost have just about a minute, but Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP party, his predecessor Tom Mulcair also got a package from the party to kind of help him with expenses. Jagmeet at some point asked the party not to pay him because of, the party was not getting donations, and he was concerned about the optics of taking a stipend from the party, when the donations are so lagging. Again, across all parties, are we setting up our leaders? Shouldn't it be fair that we are compensating or helping them to defer the costs, that the additional costs they incur to lead a party?
Again, I don't think it's an issue of compensation. I think if a compensation package is adequate, it's adequate, and it takes care of all their living expenses, and it should be part of their compensation package. I think the issue is one, yes, of optics. It's just interesting that here in Canada, having 2 nannies is considered something, so affluent. Well, I come from Jamaica, where people have 2 helpers, and they are middle-income people.
Yeah.
So we could be setting ourselves up by creating unrealistic expectations and setting up optics that we can't live by.
Stay with us. We will be taking a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. This is On Point. When we come back from the break, Arpan Khanna, the former Conservative candidate in Brampton North, will join us. Stay tuned with us. On Point.
My name is Trish Curling, and I am an online coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher, and your new host of Shaping Life, which is all about understanding that we have the ability and the control to take charge of our health and wellness. But we can't do it alone, and I can't wait to sit down with the best in the industry. Please tune in every Friday at 1 p.m. live here on the TCN Network.
World-famous spiritual astrologer and psychic Pandit Sai is born to serve people. He's an expert on palmistry and horoscope. He can handle all problems and give Vedic solutions for business, job, love, marriage, husband and wife problems, children, personal, and many others, including depression. He also performs pujas to clear all sorts of obstacles. Call Pandit Sai and see changes in your life now. 647-766-1419. Located at 2895 Derry Road, East Mississauga, Airport Road and Derry.
Welcome back to On Point, your political and current affairs talk show program. This evening, we are looking at some of the developments here in the political arena. The Conservative Party, changing or looking for a new leader. We have joining us by phone Mr. Arpan Khanna, the former Conservative candidate in Brampton North. Arpan, are you there?
Yes, Jermaine, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. Welcome to the program. It's good to have you on. Arpan, you were the former candidate over there in Brampton North. Welcome back to the program. Give us, you have lost the election over there. What's your assessment? How are you feeling after the campaign is now over?
Obviously, I'm very humbled and grateful that, I was given the opportunity to be a public servant. We ran a great campaign. We had a lot of volunteers. It was great to connect with the community and discuss some of the issues and find solutions. Obviously, it wasn't the result we were looking for, but at the same time, this is part of what happens in elections. It was my job to be the best I can be as a candidate to, reach out and pass on the Conservative message. Unfortunately, we saw in Ontario, we didn't really break through as we had hoped. But overall, we have, gained new seats. We took the Liberals down to a minority. We won the popular vote. So we have a lot of exciting new caucus members that are now in Ottawa fighting for us. And it's only going to get bigger. I know that we have a strong team. And once this leadership is done with a new leader, we're going to make sure that Trudeau and the Liberals are out of government next election.
I think you're giving us some hint there, Arpan. Are we breaking the news here on point that Arpan Khanna will stick around and will run again in Brampton North to be their member of parliament for the Conservatives?
Sorry, I missed that, Jermaine. Can you repeat that, please?
No, I'm just saying, are you indicating that you are staying around and that you will be the next candidate or seek to be the next candidate again in Brampton North for the Conservatives?
Well, Jermaine, for me, public service has always been about giving back. And before I ran as a candidate, I was involved in the community. During the campaign, I was involved in the community, and even now, I'm still involved in the community. And for me to say, before we look at circumstances, if I'm running or not, I'll have to wait and reassess. As we get ready for the election closer to the date, because as you know, it is a big sacrifice, and depending on the situation and circumstances where I'm in my life, I'll reevaluate that. But I'm definitely going to be involved. I'm definitely going to stay connected, and I'm definitely going to be a part of the community that I love so much. I know that Brampton has a bright future ahead, and I'm going to work with whoever I can. Whether they are provincial, municipal, federal, NGOs, whatever it is, to make sure that Brampton has its voice heard. And so I'm not going to commit to today that I'm running to be the candidate still. But if the members in the community want me to come back, I'll definitely look at that and come back.
All right. Before we ask you about some other leadership questions, you had a food drive on the weekend. You want to talk to us about that? How did that go? What was that in aid of? Why do you continue to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. So, our riding association, we hosted a food bank. It's Christmas time, and we're very lucky to be blessed. Many of us will be going to various Christmas parties and meeting with family and eating with loved ones. But there are those that sometimes need some help because, there's some trouble, or they, even the basic necessities like food are not available to them. So our youth association actually came up with this idea of hosting a Christmas ugly sweater party, but at the same time,
ugly sweater.
Collecting non-perishable food items. So we, collect a ton of items to go towards Save a Food Bank, which is a great organization in Peel. And so we had a great turnout, great response. And this is just an example of how we're going to continue to stay involved in giving back to our community.
All right, Arpan, since last election, your leader for the Conservative Party have resigned, decided to step down. Do you want to give us your impressions, your reaction to the fact of the Conservative Party losing their leader?
Yeah, I think obviously, no one is happy with the result we had, and despite us making some progress in Western Canada and other parts of the country, we could have done better in Ontario. And Andrew Scheer did a great job. He worked extremely hard. He was someone who genuinely cared about Canadians, and we did gain 22 new seats. We're in 121 now, and the Liberals are down to a minority. So there has been great progress that has been made. You have to remember, Jermaine, when Trudeau came in, it was assumed he's going to be prime minister for the next 10, 15, 20 years with that wave, right? So for us, no government, no one wins after a majority government on their first try. So we have made steps towards winning next time. I think we have to improve on a lot of things, making sure that we connect with diverse communities, making sure that we have a message that connects. We need a leader who's going to unite all of us, who's going to bring everyone together, who has bold policies. Sometimes, we get caught up in transactional politics in terms of, tax credits and whatnot. But we have to look at which direction we want to take the country. And I think that's what we're looking at now, is to do this leadership process, find a leader who's going to bring us all together, who's going to have that vision of making Canada, the greatest country in the world, and who's going to, look at things pragmatically and look to unite as opposed to divide.
Are you that leader?
Sorry?
Are you that leader? Are you considering the prospects of leadership?
You know, how about this? Just to make breaking news, I'm considering a run at the federal leadership. I'm considering it.
You hear it first, Kimberlee.
And on point.
You heard it first, exactly.
So Arpan, I mean, as you mentioned, we have to present a good message for the country. So are there any names you have heard being thrown about? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think some of the main issues, obviously, we have to look at is right now there's a huge divide amongst Canadians. If you look at regionally, there's a Alberta sentiment that's building up that's not happy with what's going on in the country. Quebec is having their issues. We've seen their charter, Bill C-21 that they brought forward, and there's a lot of attacking going on, a lot of division going on. I think we need to have, and that was never the case. If you look at it before, we were all united, and obviously we had our issues, but we never had this kind of sentiment. And I feel like under Trudeau, we've divided our country more than united. So that is one thing I'm looking for, but also looking for jobs. In November we had 71,000 jobs lost. The trucking industry is losing jobs. We're losing good manufacturing jobs. We're not attracting investment like we used to. So that's a concern for me. I think that's a big concern for all Canadians to make sure that they have jobs. But also recently, it's more in Brampton, the crime issue is insane. Every day we're hearing about something going on: banks, robberies, shootings. These are issues that our elected officials have to take seriously, and I think if we have a leader who has a good unifying message that looks at creating jobs and opportunity, so that those that come to Canada or have been born in Canada can achieve their dream, and someone that makes sure that we have safe communities, strong communities, and also a compassionate country, because Canadians are compassionate people. So I know sometimes conservatives get labeled as, we're not compassionate enough. That's one of our core values, is helping those who need help the most. So I think restoring that would be one of the main tasks as well of the new leader.
I know we're almost out of time. Sure. Arpan, obviously you talked about the new leader being someone able to unite the party, or us as conservatives, as you were saying. Because there was a red sweep in Ontario, Quebec, do you think it will have an impact if someone qualified, obviously, comes from either of those areas? Would that make an impact to kind of, balance out that red wave that we kind of saw? What do you think?
Yeah, just a response. I was breaking up there, but I think you're asking about, does it, is it beneficial to have a leader from
Ontario or Quebec?
Province, Quebec or Ontario? Yeah. You know what? I think it's the best person for the job. Obviously, like you said, in starting the merit base. We've had great leaders come from Western Canada who have united the country. I think, for me, I'm not going to speculate on if it's a geographical thing. I think it's more who's qualified, who has the energy, who wants. Because as you understand, being an opposition leader is not a easy job. You are going to be grinding it out from now until election day. Going to people's houses, meeting with folks, building policy. It's a very, very tiresome process, and you take a toll on your family, your health, and that's why even Rona Ambrose said it today, that she's going to consider this, but she's looking at these 5 or 6 things, like how it's going to be on her family, what's the privacy concerns that are going to come with running for leader, what are there's so much other factors that play into it. So I think if we have great leaders from Ontario or from Quebec, it's something I'm sure members will have a chance to vote on at the leadership convention.
All right, so I have to leave it there. Arpan Khanna, the former candidate for the Conservative Party in Brampton North. Thank you very much for coming on, Arpan. We wish you best wishes.
Thank you,
as you.
And Kim, and you and Jermaine.
Thank you.
So much for giving me the opportunity to be back.
All right, take care. We take a break. We'll be right back.
My name is Trish Curling, and I am an online coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher, and your new host of Shaping Life, which is all about understanding that we have the ability and the control to take charge of our health and wellness. But we can't do it alone, and I can't wait to sit down with the best in the industry. Please tune in every Friday at 1 p.m. live here on the TCN Network. My name is Trish Curling, and I am an online coach, personal trainer, and yoga teacher, and your new host of Shaping Life, which is all about understanding that we have the ability and the control to take charge of our health and wellness. But we can't do it alone, and I can't wait to sit down with the best in the industry. Please tune in every Friday at 1 p.m. live here on the TCN Network.
Welcome back to On Point, your political and current affairs talk show program. So here's what we do know, Len. Since you were missing, we'll fill you in. Here's what we do know: the former candidate for the Brampton North Conservatives, Arpan Khanna, is not going to be running for leadership of the Conservative Party.
Surprise, surprise. No, Arpan's a good guy. I like Arpan.
Okay, so who does the Conservative look to? I mean, any names are out there? Anybody? We hear some names out there, Len. I don't know. I mean. Who do they look to find, Kim? Who do they look to?
Well, there's been names, right? There's certainly possibilities. Obviously, Ron Ambrose, she was interim leader, did her thing there, and I don't know. Maybe I'm mistaken. Because I sworn I heard Arpan say she had thought about
said
it.
Something
she's not
today.
It out, but she just has to think about the impact it will have on her and her family, etc., which is fair. There's also Peter McKay.
Yes.
Well, we know who it won't be. It won't be Maxime Bernier because he took a different turn. So, but you never know.
Good one, kid.
Yeah.
In fact, Rona Ambrose is being backed by Jason Kenney from Alberta, and also by Brad Wall from Saskatchewan. So she's getting good support out there. But of course, none of these.
But they have an agenda, right? The people in the West have an agenda to have. Government clearly. More central in the West, right?
Well, clearly, but I don't think that's the only thing. I think if you look at all the people who are probably considered front runners for the job, Rona probably has the best resume.
A good candidate.
Has probably the best resume, even over Peter McKay, who is his name has come up in at least the last 3 leadership races. So he would certainly be among the top contenders.
Kind of interesting here, though, and not to cut you as it was going in your list here, but kind of interesting that Peter McKay sat out the last one because he was concerned about his young family and wanted to spend more time with them. And we talk about, Andrew Scheer and his family being a challenge there as well, right? So I know he has to probably weigh that as well, as to, is this the right time for him too?
Maybe he's had some time to think about it or kind of make peace with that, if you will, right? He kind of sat that one out and maybe you think it's this time or never.
Yeah.
And again, the calls are pretty strong, and it's hard to resist. If this is the 4th time and the calls are so strong, he may decide to throw his hat in the ring. And I think he would be one of the stronger contenders. Yes. Other names I'm hearing include ex New Brunswick Premier Bernard Lord, MPs Michelle Rempel, Michael Chung. Erin O'Toole. These are names which are being considered.
So Michael Chung ran in the last time. Erin O'Toole ran the last time as well around. Our own mayor in Brampton has been called. Do you think he's up to the task? He's ready to go?
So the mayor's statement was he had to respond because the questions were there. But I don't think his statement ruled out engagement at the federal level at some point. He's responded that he is focused on Brampton, which is his job right now, which is the appropriate statement to make. But again, I think it depends on who becomes the leader. There may be an opportunity there, which any smart politician would consider.
Do we have that statement from Brampton's mayor, just in case some folks are wondering if the mayor of Brampton, whose name has been called as well, will throw his hat in the ring? Do we have that statement there? Can we play a minute from it or a couple of seconds from it to hear what he had to say?
Right now, my wife is very happy with me in Brampton. We've got a young boy, Theodore, who's 4.5 months old, and I'm very happy to be in the city of Brampton. I certainly don't miss being on airplanes or in a car traveling around the country like I did in my provincial days. I think I've got the best job possible serving the people of Brampton.
There you have it. The mayor is saying that he currently has the best job serving the people of Brampton. He also has a young family. He talked about that as well. So Kimberlee, the considerations, Kimberlee, when one decides to run, what are the things that they really have to consider? We hear some of the issues the mayor talk about, those considerations.
Well, definitely, family. The impact it has on you, especially if you have a young family, you definitely need to take that into consideration. I think family, more than anything else, is a big factor.
Yes, but you also have to consider your stance on certain issues, which there are some divisive issues right now in the Conservative Party, whether that is as relates to the carbon tax, whether it relates to supply management, refugee resettlement, and not even to mention, of course, probably the most divisive are some of the social issues, which I think is probably the undoing of Mr. Scheer, because his positions on some of these things were ambiguous at best. His position, for example, as it relates to the LGBTQ community during the election was very ambiguous. And to some, he hadn't even gone far enough. So there are the social conservative arm, is the social conservative arm of the party that's pulling the party in one direction, and then there are the more centrists. And then there are those.
But I think some of those, though, are more media hype than actual considerations, because the Conservative Party has been clear on some of these issues. The Conservative Party in Vancouver defined its position on marriage and marriage equality. Stephen Harper was Prime Minister for 10 years, and the LGBTQ community, their rights were respected and they thrived and grew in this country. Marriage equality is something that came strong under Stephen Harper. Immigrants and refugees came in under Stephen Harper. So I think, Kimberlee, some of these were more in the media than the reality. The Conservative have a party have a problem with their communication and how they communicate some of these issues rather than the reality. Because the reality is that they created the platform for everybody to be included.
I totally agree. It's just like you said. And as they're looking for a new leader right now, it's one that can properly relay the message, because it's not that his message didn't have substance. He spoke about his personal view, but we saw where the Liberals kind of used that to say, well, you know what, you're homophobic, for lack of a better word. They didn't really say that, or maybe the thinking is that, you know what, if you're so strong on this view, you can't be partial. Is that really the case? We don't know, right? If this is your personal stand that it should be a man and a woman, can you really be impartial? But we talked about Stephen Harper, like you said, he had his own views, but we saw where he respected,
differently.
To suggest, though, that the positions are, so certain.
Yes.
You're discounting the millions of Canadians who felt that his ability to articulate that message was not clear to them, which is why the vote went.
Well, I think the media had a lot to do with that. But let's talk about the leadership
the election.
Let's talk a bit. Let's talk a bit about on another point. We are known for breaking news, and we are going to be the first to report that for the first time in a leadership campaign, we're going to see some diverse people on that stage. For example, we could see a woman from the Black Canadian community who is running for leadership of the Conservative Party of Canada, and that's breaking news. You'll hear the announcement very shortly for that candidate. Len Carby, how important it is now for the Conservative Party to kind of reach out and embrace other minority communities and to reflect that within their ranks, within their leadership, as a black person, there was one black person who ran in the last election for the Conservatives versus a whole lot for the NDP and a whole lot for the Liberal Party. At the leadership level, how important it is for them to open up that up as well to members of minority communities across this country?
Well, the issue of diversity has been an issue for the Conservative Party for a long time, both at federal and provincial levels. So I think it's encouraging to see a broader, diverse group running for leadership. Diversity in different ways. It's a female, you're breaking the news. That's great. A black person of the black community, that's great news. I wish to see more of that involved in the race too. I think any person who's part of the party who understands the platform should be willing and able to put their name forward, and their race or culture or diversity should not be an issue that disqualifies them for that from that leadership role.
Kimberlee, more women in politics?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's we definitely need that, and it's up to the leaders now to engage more. Whatever it is that's been disenfranchising a particular community, they probably need to look at that so they can be more involved and be more engaged. All
right. When we come back from the break, some breaking news right here at Brampton City Hall. Stay with us. This is On Point, where we bring you the latest and the current affairs.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity in our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
World-famous spiritual astrologer and psychic Pandit Sai is born to serve people. He's an expert on palmistry and horoscope. He can handle all problems and give Vedic solutions for business, job, love, marriage, husband and wife problems, children, personal, and many others, including depression. He also performs pujas to clear all sorts of obstacles. Call Pandit Sai and see changes in your life now. 647-766-1419. Located at 2895 Derry Road, East Mississauga, Airport Road and Derry.
All right, so we are seeing some breaking news right here in the city of Brampton taking place. The Brampton Guardian is reporting that a Brampton city councillor has been accused of sexual assault while on a trade mission trip in the city to Turkey. While they were on a trade mission trip to Turkey. The councillor have also responded. Here on Point, we have reached out to the councillor involved. We have invited the councillor to come on to kind of give us, his feedback or his take on what actually happened on that trip, and to give him a chance to speak to Bramptonians and actually to the rest of Canadians. He's a councillor who is, very vocal, being on several media outlets. So we did invite the councillor. We haven't received a response from this councillor as yet. But Len Carby, the Integrity Commissioner, is also looking into this issue. We believe that everybody is due their fair hearing and their fair due process. But what does it mean for us here in Brampton, for the residents, for the city of Brampton? Your initial reaction to seeing that breaking news in the Guardian today?
Well, whenever anyone who has put themselves out there for public office comes under this kind of, attack or allegations like this, it's not a pleasant thing to experience within our city. However, I want to be careful that we are not giving any credence at all to the report. I think we have to allow the process to go through of the investigation before we can make any conclusions. The councillor in his response to the Guardian indicate he will fight this and will defend his integrity. And I look forward to hearing how it all unfolds. When the investigation is complete, either way, that's when I think it will be appropriate to have a comment around,
Fair enough.
But for now, I would reserve comment on it.
Fair enough. 100%,
yeah. Okay. Just take it with a grain of salt. They're only allegations at this point, and that's the democracy we live in, right? Innocent until proven guilty. So, as Len said, due process. Let the due process fade out. See what more facts uncover. See, how he can defend himself or not, vice versa, and then we can comment. But I think it's too early to comment at this point.
I would say as well, we urge the Integrity Commissioner to move on this issue. The Integrity Commissioner has been a bit slow in Brampton. There are a few issues that have been out there before Integrity Commissioner. There's the issue of the Brampton Focus cash payment or payment grant that was made to them. There is some other issues as well that have been reported to the Integrity Commissioner. But the Integrity Commissioner have not yet come back to report on any issue brought before her since she has been there. So we use opportunity to urge the Integrity Commissioner to move quickly on some of these issues, to bring some of these issues to conclusion, so that this cloud doesn't continue to hang over the council. So we move on to some other issues. Should Bramptonians be worried? Yesterday, just in Hamilton, their LRT project was cancelled. The government indicated that the price tag was too much, was too high. Kimberlee, should Bramptonians be concerned? No, that our university was cancelled. We were told that there was not really a budget there for it, that the Liberals were only making election promises. We're not sure what is happening with the LRT. Should we be concerned? Should we? I
mean, there's certainly cause for concern, but council, one of the things, if anything else, they've been united on getting Brampton its fair share. We've even seen community activists come up talking about other things that we need, university, hospital, and stuff. So, I mean, it's cause for concern for sure. It's just like nobody's getting anything. So, it's just up to the elected officials now. I know the mayor and council has been trying to do that. Activists here locally to really lobby if they have to, whatever they need to do to really, get the leader to respond, to really give some of those funds and to see. But again, if there's really no budget for it, that's probably a part of the problem. We're not sure.
Then should we be making a call? Should the elected people in Brampton be making calls to ensure that Ontario LRT stays on track?
Well, definitely, I think there is reason to be concerned. I actually don't know how much appetite there is anyway for it. This thing has been laboring in the wind for a long time. And so, but the one point I think that is, of concern is this, I know the Ontario, Conservative Party has kind of taken on this, image of, fiscal conservativeness, which is great. We are all concerned about the purse.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, we need to invest in the future. We need to invest in infrastructure. We need to invest in things which are going to serve us. We're not governing just for today. We're governing for a future. This Brampton will be around in another 50 years from now. And at that point, will you not want to have something? So unless someone has the will to actually start a project that involves in significant infrastructure development, then we're actually not creating a future for our children in Brampton.
You're right on that. I mean, we have to speak up that, we believe that the LRT project is important for our city. We need to be getting people moving within the city. We need to, in the interest of having better climate action and more environmental practices, we need to get people out of their cars and into mass transit where we can move more people with less exposure or less harm to the environment. So, I just want to use this to also push and to remind that, this project is important to Brampton. Getting transit done, getting us connected to neighboring cities is important to Brampton, and we want to see the Conservatives continue to push in that.
Yes, that's my hope.
Yes.
It is my hope that we will look at even a bigger project like connecting Brampton to the airport. Yeah. I think that's even a bigger issue. You connect Brampton to the airport, you connect Brampton to the world.
Yep.
And I think that's another big ticket item that our city should be looking at.
A few other things we're about to final few minutes here on the program. We are about to move into the end of the session here at Queen's Park, at Queen's Park, but we still have some outstanding negotiations with our teachers, which is going on there. The teachers we have been seeing now almost a weekly one-day strike. I think one is planned for tomorrow. Another one-day strike. How do we bridge that gap, Kimberlee? How do we ensure that the kids are kept in school? The minister is saying that strike hurts kids, and they need to stay at the negotiation table. He has come out that the union's demands would put us in a big fiscal situation. But whether it's a Conservative government or a Liberal government or even when an NDP government, we have teachers strike and union strikes. What's going on there with our teachers unions?
Oh, that's a good question. Clearly, they're not happy, or at this point in time, they kind of feel that they deserve more, which, and it's fair. You can look at all that, but I do agree with what the minister said in terms of that kids out of school, that hurts them. So however they need to negotiate that, I guess strike, it's really been from the beginning of time how they can let their voice be heard. So maybe the teachers are resorting to that because they think they will listen, because everybody really wants the greater good for the students. But while they're in negotiation, it would be great if the kids can really stay in school, which I think they're the most important aspect of this whole thing.
Let's be clear though, it's not just the minister who is concerned about kids being out of school. The teachers have kids too.
Yes.
And they're concerned about their kids being out of school. What is happening right now is that the two parties are not finding a way to agree on how to move forward in the negotiation and bargaining process. That's what's happening. And unfortunately, our kids are the ones who are suffering.
But I think, though, Len, that we have come to a time where we have to look at other ways. How do we move in the negotiation process? I believe in the bargaining process. I was a member of a union in a previous life. I recall being there at the negotiation table. And I've never participated in a strike. We have never needed to have a strike during all the time when I worked in the financial sector as a union delegate and having those hard and tough negotiations. Should we consider that, while we negotiate the hard points, we got to keep production going. We got to keep the kids in the class. We got to keep teaching, and that's my concern. That we got to find a way to make sure that production continues, that classroom continues, and kids are put first, and they are in the classroom where we have the tough negotiations.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So I think, I just want to be clear. Not that I'm saying the teachers don't want the kids in school, but I think it's more to Jermaine's point that can we find a balance, another way that can they still have that clout for the government to listen and the kids not be involved.
And remember, the teachers are not just raising a point about their income. It's not just that. They're actually talking about class sizes. They're not talking about the Ontario education system. And all of that is part of the bargaining process.
I want to do a quick thing, though. We're almost out of time here. We have a minute to go. A quick thing, though. The unions seem to be very concerned about online classes. But I believe that within the education system, we are preparing our kids for the future. In the work environment, we have to do a lot of webinars and, sometimes we take online classes, online courses, you work, you have to do all these things. Is it sort of a reasonable thing to have some online classes within the high school system to prepare the kids for what is really going to happen in the future?
I don't know that that's the argument that they're making or not making. It is a question of the impact that will have on class sizes. It's an impact that will have on the education system. So are there changes necessary? Absolutely. And those things should be negotiated.
Kimberlee, you are in HR. Online training isn't that part of what HR 100%. Does if you want to prepare people for the workforce? And they have to come to be prepared to do online training, webinars and seminars and all those things.
But I think the classroom is necessary too, but maybe just to have a balance as opposed to one or the other, right?
Oh, okay. So. All right, fair enough. We are.
And I think that's what our teachers are asking for.
I believe that the minister have some good points there, and I think that is something for the unions to consider as we prepare our kids for the future. In my line of work, we have to do those online webinars and seminars on a regular basis. And I think you expose high school kids to online training and online resources. It's a good thing. I'm not sure it's a detrimental thing. And I think 25 kids in a class, I'm not sure how unreasonable the ask is. That's I think in my days we had over 40 kids in a classroom. We have 40 kids in my class. As a Jamaican Canadian, there's a proud moment. For those of us from Jamaican Canadian background, we have delivered one of the most beautiful queens to the world in the Miss World contest. So I want to use this closing minute to just congratulate Miss Tonian Singh. Tonian Singh from my home country back there in Jamaica. Not in my neck of the woods, but I mean a different area in Jamaica, but still Jamaica.
We're all out of many one people.
One people.
Happy for her. We congratulate her.
We congratulate her. So from all of us here in the city of Brampton, the Toronto Caribbean Network, we wish Tonian best wishes as she continues to reign for this 1 year. And all of us are all three Jamaicans today. Wow.
So say all of us.
Thanks for watching On Point. Stay with us when next week we bring you the winners, the losers, the year in review, those who some big things happened for in 2019. Stay with us. We'll be back with you in 7 short days. Another episode of On Point.